are back in Tucson, Arizona. My name is Dave Vincent for the WPH Race for 8 Tour Season number 2, alongside Dave Fink. Dave Vincent here as we get ready for this men's round of 16 match. It is Jonathan Iglesias up against, I would call him, Dave, a rival, Chip Morales. Both players play similar styles of game, although Chip Morales has that power serve down the right, and he has a fairly good back wall game. We saw him with his coming out party in Fresno last year, and I think that's sort of the difference between John Iglesias and Chip Morales, is the fact that Chip has had some big wins and he has had big tournaments. John has really never proved himself yet, but we have the feeling he's going to in four-wall.
Well, I believe, Dave, this could be the year that we see John Iglesias break into the top 8. We just saw him break into the top 16, and this could be a huge leap year for him. He has taken down some big names, Dave, including Andy Nett and Emmett Peugeot in smaller tournaments, but he hasn't done it on the pro stage yet. But I think it's just a matter of time. Sometimes the lights are a little bit brighter on the pro stage, and maybe Jonathan hasn't played up to his best, but that could change here today. But as we said earlier, Dave, Chip Morales does have a 3-0 record against John Iglesias.
See, John has been in off and on now, warming up for the last 30 minutes as he gets ready for this round of 16, and we have a referee here now getting ready to get this one underway. It's a one-game match to 25 at half. There will be a 3-minute break. Halftime is at the 15th point. Referee is, I believe, Abraham Montijo. The 15th point is scored, and the person that served first to start the match will actually be returning the serve after the 15th point, after the break is over with. Chip Morales said yesterday that he came here and was visualizing this match right here and said that, you know, I love these courts. I play better on these concrete courts. It reminds me exactly of Fresno without that side glass over there. But he said, I'm looking forward to this. I want it.
All right, here we go.
He's been dreaming about it.
Chip's one of those guys that when he picks a name out of the hat, he says, that's who I wanted. He's very positive. So no matter who he picks, he's happy with his selection.
Well, you knew Chip was going to go to that right side on that serve.
Second.
He'll hit a couple walls here, I think.
And there's a
point.
Strange error from Jonathan. Jonathan, Dave, makes his living diving and re-killing balls up in the front court. I think we'll see a lot of that from Jonathan. If you shoot in front of him, beware. He's got amazing quickness, and he's got the ability to put the ball down when you think that you might have ended the rally.
Point.
John's made a couple bad hand errors here early, though.
2-0.
I believe, Dave, John is one of those guys that puts so much pressure on himself, and he just doesn't really get himself comfortable in these big matches. He said to me last week after he won 9th place, why can't I play like I did for 9th place in the first round? Like I wish I could have done this against Andy Nett, and I think that's just experience, but also you have to prove to yourself that you can do it. You have to prove to yourself you can go in there in the main draw and play with that relaxed frame of mind. Chip does have that relaxed frame of mind.
This will be a big setup for Chip. No call from the referee.
I like that. And this is a very sloppy rally, Dave. Both guys with a number of setups, and another setup for Chip.
No, replay.
Chip, Dave, has been sparring with Armando Ortiz, who we thought we would see here at this event, but he backed out at the last minute, but said that Armando spent 10 days with him and then another 7 leading up to the US Open. I said, aren't you married? I mean, I can't have a friend over for 20 minutes. And of course, when I tried that, it was Emmett Peugeot, and I think that's a little bit different. So
3-0.
Dave Fink just now recognizing that our director, Linda Manning, has put the 1 game to 25 on the scoreboard, which is exactly what this is. 1 game match to 25, you win by 2.
Chip with an ace serve down the right to earn his 4th point. He's now at 4-0, and that's a beautiful shot, Dave.
Timeout, John, that's your first. The score is 5-0, 1 minute.
Had 5-0, a very quick timeout, but here with that 1 game to 25, you get 3 timeouts. It's not uncommon to see, or maybe it shouldn't be uncommon to see these really quick timeouts to start these matches to stop momentum. You have to stop it early, Dave.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if the guys have played it enough, and probably some of these guys haven't even played it at all, but there's probably certain, aspects to the game that we don't really know yet. Taking a quick early timeout might be the smartest thing to do in some cases.
Well, Chip has played this format last season quite a bit as he qualified in a number of
Test,
stops.
test. Can you guys hear? Test.
John
Test.
played just one qualifier last year, but John grew up playing big ball in New York where a lot of the tournaments are one-game matches to either 21 or 25.
20 seconds.
He might not necessarily be used to it in
All right.
four-wall, but, Dave, I love the format. I love playing it, and I love watching it. I don't know,
All right,
what
time is
the
in.
player's opinion will be of it as
5-0.
the season progresses. Right now, it's a little bit new, and, most guys don't like change, but I think it's a change for the better. I think we'll see a lot more high-quality handball as a result.
What I've noticed is that the players that win love it, and those that lose don't like it. But it's a work in progress here. We did it all season last year and really had a lot of good reviews. But that's coming from the players that are trying to qualify. Now it's actually been implemented in the first 2 rounds of the main draw. So we'll see if guys like Luis Moreno
Sorry,
Alan
wrong
Garner
score.
and
Sorry, Chip.
Sean Linning and Charlie Shanks, how they're going to react to it, because they've been staples in the
1 serving 5.
other format.
You have to say that timeout, a good timeout for Jonathan, as he's won now 3 consecutive rallies and 2 points since calling that timeout, and he's right back in this match.
2-5.
Dave, as a player, you get up 5-0 on somebody, especially in these one-game matches,
Foot fault.
and you
Back
feel
foot.
like
Your back
if you
foot
can
is
extend that
crossing
to
the
just
line.
7 or 8, it's pretty much over. But now here, John Iglesias is
Second
back
serve.
within striking distance quickly. John is one of those guys, Dave, that I believe struggles to find the benefits of being too intense and too laid back. There's a place that you need to get your mind where you're not too worked up, but you're also
Slide out.
not too laid back. I see Jonathan either too laid back or too uptight.
5-2. Short.
Chip's got a lot of pro experience.
Second. Slide out. Two, 5. Short ball.
I believe, Dave, that Jonathan's serve has really improved over the last
Second.
couple of years. That was always one of his weaknesses, was not really possessing a great serve. But if he's able to get some free points off of his serve, I believe you'll see him, Dave, in that top 8 and possibly qualifying for Seattle.
Point. Check it, please.
Just a terrible air there from Chip. Lazy feet. That was a huge setup off the back wall, and it hits Chip off the bounce before it makes the back wall.
Well, one of the
3
things
serving 5.
that these players might not know is that Tucson, Arizona's elevation is near 3,000 feet.
Second.
A couple thousand feet less than Salt Lake City,
Point.
or 1,000 feet, I should say, less than Salt Lake City, but still, nonetheless, it is a little taxing here. Dave, you played on the courts, and did you feel like
4
you were
or
winded
5.
a little bit earlier than normal?
Yeah, quite a bit. I thought I just was out of shape.
That ball was short.
Second.
And don't forget, Dave, a lot of these players, Jonathan included, have literally traveled 15 to 20,000 miles in the last month playing in
5 serving
events.
4.
And that's very hard to recover from. I mean, you can go home and rest, Dave, all you want, but it takes a long time to adjust to those miles in the plane, as we saw an amazing shot there from Chip, and also the time zones and the different
6-4.
climates. Chip didn't go to the to the World Championships. Jonathan
Short.
did. Jonathan also
Second.
went home from the U.S. Open, went to Costa Rica and Miami and New York, so he continues traveling. Very difficult.
Slide out. 4 serving 6.
This could be a setup for Chip.
Sounded like kind of a strange sound off the back wall, but it seemed to come out true. Chip just
5-6.
making a big error there.
Side out.
A below average serve, but an incredible return from Chip Morales. Takes the revolving door and drills a 1-inch high kill shot right in front of Jonathan.
6-5.
You heard that score from Abraham Montijo. Chip Morales, Fresno, California, serving to John Iglesias.
Dave, I believe if Chip hits 8 or more unreturned serves in this match, he will win this match. That was his
7-5.
second. Chip's one of the few guys, Dave, that actually studies his serve on tape. He goes in there and hits serves by himself virtually every day.
No.
A lot of guys, Dave, just hope that they have a good serving day. Chip actually spends time studying it. He has a
7-5.
serve coach.
Short ball.
Well, he hit that one a little too low. Maybe didn't bend
Second.
down enough.
And
That
there's
ball's so fast that it just carries to
I
the
believe
back
that's
wall.
the announcing curse, Dave, invoking a
5-7.
double fault.
I have to write that down. It's an error on
Short ball.
our announcer, Dave Fink.
Second.
You don't have too many errors, though. Almost everything you say is right. Almost contact there with Chip's feet and John. They're playing kind of close right now.
Jonathan has a tendency to play very close, Dave. I think it stems from his big ball, one-wall upbringing, where it's almost like basketball in the lane when you're playing big ball one-wall with a lot of contact.
Score is 7-5.
I believe, Dave, Jonathan does it subconsciously. I don't think he goes out of his way to get in your way, but he's one of those guys that's right there on your hip, particularly when you're exchanging in the front court.
Hey, Jonathan, did you understand what Jonathan?
But you can use that against him as well. I mean, if
With your left
he's hugging your left hip, you can drive balls down the right wall.
going past that. No, but it was like by that much. No, it was like by half a foot. That's what they called it.
Jonathan came to spar with me, Dave, before the World Championships, and of course he showed up with no gloves, no shirts, and no shoes. So those gloves are actually
Yours.
from Amerifink. He actually just took them. He said he's borrowing them. He's worn them for every match he's played in the last 3 events.
What about the shoes?
Well,
It's the same shoes
right,
that
time
you're
is in.
wearing.
okay,
sure
sure, I
I
wear
was.
7 sizes bigger than him, though. He can actually fit both of his feet in my shoes.
Point.
Kind of looks like he went in and took those from your
8-5.
gym bag and is wearing your shoes.
Huh. And Jonathan lets that get a little bit too close to him. Most guys, Dave, are unable to put the ball down when the ball is that close to their body, with the exception of Charles Shanks, who seems to be able to take the ball while it's up against his stomach and flat roll at 100 miles per hour.
Replay.
Haven't quite figured out how he does that
Okay.
yet, Dave, but I'm working on it.
John,
Well,
make sure
think
you don't
about it
push
a lot.
off when you're going after a ball. Chip felt like he was pushed when you're going for a shot for your shot, so make sure you keep your hands to yourself. Don't push off on him. 8, serving 5.
Score here is 8-5, as you heard that explanation from Abraham Montijo.
Chip has maintained his lead throughout this
Second serve.
match. Jonathan nearly caught him, but now it's Chip with a 3-point lead. He started this match with a 5-0 run.
Wow, nice little
Side
roll
out.
out there from Jonathan Iglesias. Hit that flat.
5, serving 8.
See if he can get anything going here with that serve.
I don't think, Dave, you'll see as much off the wall play here. And what I mean by that is fly killing this week, because the ball is so different. I don't think guys are used to it. I think it's a little bit faster,
Side out.
and you have to just have everything perfect to be able to take the ball out of the air. We haven't seen much fly killing
8-5.
from either guy today, and both guys are extremely good at taking the ball off the wall.
Side out.
Power pass there from Jonathan, who put enough wrinkle on it to run the ball down the side wall.
5-8.
No screen
Point.
called.
thought you were in line to see it. Okay, out.
I thought it was a screen ball as well, Dave. If we're able to take a look at the replay, I think you'd see that
I'll look a little closely next time.
that Chip Morales is sitting dead center on the court. You can see his head. Look where John's standing when he starts the serve, and watch where this ball goes.
I agree with you.
That's really tight right there. Now, as a player, standing in the middle of the court and also down on that court level, you're waiting to see where the ball's coming off the front wall, and you're still a little extra time getting out of the block.
Initially, I didn't think it was a screen, but that ball did just cross John's body.
And actually, where John sets up to serve is where the ball landed. So he's fading away from it. But that fade happens at the end of the play.
Well, you don't see a lot of screens called on serves that are hit on the same side as the server. Usually you see the screens called when the serve goes behind the server.
That's an avoidable. Nope, just going to replay it.
I'd like to take a replay of that as well. That was very close. Chip needed to move probably a half a step to his left there.
How about a 2 steps to the left?
Maybe a makeup call there, Dave, for the screen that wasn't called and an avoidable that should have been called.
Let's take a look at that shot right here.
Nice
Chip stays down here, Dave, which is good, but it's going to be a back wall setup. And then Chip just kind of, watch how he roams right directly in front of, and I say it's textbook. I don't know where else John could have gone. 7 serves 8 here.
Short.
Probably right there, Dave.
I know we don't agree on much.
Second serve.
Well, we've agreed on the last 2 controversial calls.
I might have to get a new broadcast partner.
Well, I've got my glasses on today, so it's a little different story.
Look at that power right there from John Iglesias. And Chip actually came up on John there and maybe even forced some contact.
8 serving 8.
And we're all together.
Short.
That ball was also close to being a screen. Chip was jumping over there quick. Now, if John had a good wrinkle on the ball, he could break that ball with a natural hook back to Chip's left. Chip would be diving in to get that ball that the ref's not going to call a screen and then get really frustrated.
Chip is not matching Jonathan's intensity right now, and that's a big reason that Jonathan scored 8 of the last 11 points.
Strange bounce in the back.
Side out.
That's a great shot from Chip. Is kind of an awkward bounce, and Chip was able to set himself and adjust and hit a great shot. You see most guys in that situation just flipping the ball back as they're caught off guard, but Chip got his feet set quickly and made a great swing.
It's been 10 seconds. Point.
And Dave, that cross corner shot is so effective because even if your opponent's anticipating it comes off at such a sharp angle that even if you're diving in, the ball's running away from you, it runs at about a 65 or 70 degree angle, almost sideways. And unless you've really got an amazing jump on it, the ball's out of your reach. As opposed to shooting the ball in the strong corner, which would be the right corner for a right-handed player, the ball comes out more at 45 degrees. It's a much easier pickup. Here's a big setup for Chip. And the announcer's curse there.
Chip looked like he took his eye off the ball right before he hit that.
8-39.
I agree with that corner kill too, and if you're at home and you want to improve your handball game, that's going to be appealed.
I don't know if we have line judges here, Dave.
But if you want to increase your game, try to go in and practice that corner kill.
That sounds like a broken ball.
And it is. What I've noticed with the corner kill, Dave, is that it seems that because of the spin coming out of your hand, from your palm out your fingers going to that corner, that the ball's digging into the side wall first, and then it comes out more of a, almost at a 45 degree as opposed to maybe a 90 degree or a 75 degree angle that would normally check back out toward the middle. This ball actually slides across the front court. So if you're in the back, it's kind of deceptive because it seems like you can get it, but it just is dying up front, and if you do catch up to it, usually it's a defensive shot even though you're in the front court. Now, the only guy that I've seen that are able to catch up to those and do things with them are Sean Lennings that have those good underhand paddle re-kills. But it's such an effective shot to go to a corner first. Opposite of your hand. If you're right-hander to the left corner, left-hander to the right corner. Sidearm, of course.
It also works to paddle that shot, and that's a good get from Jonathan.
another good get. Now Jonathan in the driver's seat.
Chip does not look comfortable off the back wall.
There's no bad bounces. It's play all bad bounces, yeah. With the side out.
That's strange that the player would say that. Chip's now chirping at John Iglesias, saying, what do you mean you didn't know that? That's the way we always played last 3 years here. 4 years.
9 serving 8.
Welcome to the big time, rookie. I mean, the rookie is no longer a rookie. I think he would know that rule by now.
Wish I would have known that. Well, he signed the release form that actually said no bad bounces.
Jonathan picked up 2 ranking points last week at the U.S. Open, Dave, by virtue of winning the first ever 9-16 playoff at the U.S. Open. And that could bode huge. It already helped him with his seed here at this event. And every point counts, Dave, as we've seen on this Race for 8 Pro Tour. We had Chip Morales on the wrong end of a beautiful shot there, but Chip Morales coming up just short in qualifying for Seattle last year, as well as Emmett Peixote.
8-9.
Iglesias, a lot like Shorty Ruiz, that they put their whole body into that serve. Generate a lot of power, Dave.
Well, that looked like an avoidable off the back wall from Jonathan. We'll take an instant replay of that. But you're right, Dave. That's that big ball swing where you throw your whole body into the swing. But watch how close Jonathan is to Chip on this back wall shot. And Jonathan had plenty of time to get out of his way.
Jonathan's been complaining to the referee that Chip's been too close.
9.
Well,
Let's take a look here.
See if this is the spot here. And it's a couple shots after this, but we'll see it.
Every single one of these were setups.
Okay, that was, I think, at the end of the rally, but
Point.
that's definitely something we'll be looking for.
But you saw Chip look back at the
10-9.
referee, wanting to get some kind of hinder off that left side wall. These guys are going back and forth on those looks to the ref here.
Well, I believe Chip was complaining about the call that I'm referencing. And that's a great corner kill from Jonathan.
You mean that shot earlier?
It was 3 shots before, off the back wall.
11-9. Short ball. Second.
This is the one-game match to 25. The first match of the day went exactly 30 minutes, 29 minutes actually. And we're at minute number 23, and we haven't even hit halftime yet.
Oh, Jonathan is on fire right now.
12 serving 9.
Completely outplaying Chip since a slow start. And this is what Jonathan does. He takes over the front court.
If that's a screen, it should be an avoidable. I mean, you can't call that a screen without calling it an avoidable. Right, Dave?
I would think a no call there probably would have been best. I don't know what else Chip could have done with that ball as he's fading to his left.
I hate to say it, but I think
12-9.
a no call would have been the first best thing you could have done.
That looked good, Dave.
I
for
thought it was
sure.
short. I thought it was short, and I believe that a avoidable would have been the next best thing to call, and then a screen is the worst thing you can call there. It's almost saying, yeah, oh yeah, he screened you. Well, he screened you because he ran in front of you, which is an avoidable. But these guys are both looking back at the referee on ticky-tack type screens. Nice
In this
power
match
right
now,
there.
getting away from Chip, and Chip's frustrated.
Timeout, Chip.
I don't know if
That's
he
your second.
expected this
Scores
kind of
13-9.
play from Jonathan, who's really playing good ball right now.
You see Chip Morales exiting this court and going down that hallway. This could be the first upset of the day. Chip Morales is talking to himself here too. Talk about somebody who's frustrated. Chip Morales, he has played good handball. He loves these courts. He said he visualized himself winning here. He said he loves concrete, but he comes in and you can see clearly that he's out of breath. He almost looks like he's gained 10 pounds since we saw him last. I don't know exactly, but see how he's
20
talking
seconds.
to himself here. And Dave, you and I have been in this situation. You know that you should be winning. You know you should be playing better. And you go to isolate yourself and you just say to yourself, come on, what am I doing? You don't have to break your, your wrist by slugging the wall or throwing your bag, that's not the type of frustration this is. This is one of those things where you know you can play better. He's just saying, come on, what are you doing? And sometimes you're just trying to motivate yourself by asking yourself a question. Why am I playing like this?
Well, sometimes your mind is telling you you should be playing better, but your body's not cooperating. If you're out of breath and you're just being overpowered, there's not much you can do.
Score is 13-9.
Make that 14-9, and Chip just missed that shot. As now John is serving to go into halftime here.
14-9.
After trailing 5-0.
Just over the line.
And Chip Dave will need to win this rally, and he does, and he goes into halftime being dominated now, being outscored 15-4 in the last 19 rallies. And Dave, that's not what we expected here from this match. I mean, this match I don't believe is as close as the score indicates.
No, it looked close for a while. In fact, you remember John Iglesias was trailing for most part of that, the first half of the first half, where he was down by 3 or 4, and it looked like Chip was just getting the side outs, scoring 1 point. John Iglesias would get a couple side outs, score a point, and then always stay about 3 behind. But here you see that he's pulled ahead with a nice lead here going into halftime. We're also going to take a half. This is the men's round of 16 at the WPH Race for 8, season number 2, stop in Tucson. For Dave Fink, Dave Vincent, we'll be back in just a bit, about 2 minutes. Stick with us.
You guys from LA and Nikolai's from Chicago. Yeah. Yeah, let him back. He's going back on Tuesday, though. Back to Seattle, yeah. Yeah, I'm tired. Hey, what's the score? 15-9. John? Yeah, John.
One minute.
To add insult to injury, Dave, Jonathan has the ball to start the second half as he's already on this 15-4 run. We saw Chip in the hallway here trying desperately to get himself back into this match. This is exactly the kind of game Jonathan wants to play.
Ooh, that's tough right there. That's the wrong call there.
I think the referee should change that.
He got up, he was ready to jump forward.
He didn't need to go forward.
That was a terrible call right there from the referee.
Well, Chip shouldn't have hit that shot right back to Jonathan. He had the open court to the right.
I don't know. Let's look at this replay here. I still think it was a good shot. It was unconventional that he go right back down there, but it certainly put it away, didn't he? And just on a straight kill, he put this ball away.
Well, it's a little bit of a screen there. Jonathan camped out behind him, though.
He went the wrong way.
$15-9.
And that was another hinder call, David, I didn't agree with.
Short ball. Second.
I believe hinders should be able to be appealed. When they're rally-ending shots, I believe you should be able to go to the appeals judges. Because referees miss hinder calls just like they miss shorts. Obviously, you can't appeal a hinder that was just a neutralizing ball, but if it's a rally-ending shot like those last two, you can appeal to the line judges, and they can say he either could have had that or he couldn't have.
15-9.
We actually used that technique at the NYAC event, where we had a 98-year-old referee.
Point. 16-9.
So it was like a referee by committee type thing. 98-year-old referee.
Second.
Chip cannot get anything going here.
Hold it.
And now our referee is really stepping in here, Dave, and affecting a lot of these rallies. I just don't see the
16-9.
screens here or the hinders.
Point. $17-9.
That's a big mistake from Jonathan. Chip should have put that return to serve away, but he doesn't. And Chip, Dave, has not ended a rally with a kill shot since he led 8-5.
9 serving 17.
That's a long time, Dave, and a lot of points scored to not have
Short ball.
hit a kill shot. He's only earning side outs and
Second.
points on Jonathan's airs and sort of strange shots that, you know, come right down the side walls.
Side out.
Jonathan saying that he didn't play any handball from
17-9.
June until early October, where he just hung out in Costa Rica, did a lot of yoga.
Well, you saw a yoga move right there from John when he put his hands together, and
I thought that was a
18-9.
salute to Sun Lee.
Short ball.
possible, but definitely a yoga move there. He's trying to become a certified yoga instructor. And look at that flat roll from Chip Morales.
I know, Dave, you contributed a couple of $1,000s to Sun Lee's
9 serving
fund to
18.
become a lead actor in Korea, but he's now back in Chicago selling Kias. So I'm sure that that money was well spent.
10 serving 18.
Ball looked like it slid. It's been raining here in Tucson.
Oh.
That's a side out. Courts are wet here. That's a frustrated Chip Morales right there, and the referee could give him a technical if he wanted to.
And now I'm not sure what's going on here, Dave. Is this a timeout? Or
18 serving 10.
that was just batting practice. I thought there were no pepper games.
Short ball.
Glad I set you straight on what that meant.
Second.
As John Iglesias looks like he's, with his first serve, his foot faulting. There's that yoga move, breathing technique that he learned on the beaches of Florida. He said he wears all white when he does yoga. Linen cloth.
Sometimes he doesn't wear anything. So he's
I
wearing
get
all
off.
white.
I get off of those conversations very quick.
Well, I've actually seen it. That's the problem. He
That's
doesn't,
why
he
I
hasn't talked about
That's
it.
why I don't like to stay on those conversations. I don't want to know that. Really.
Oh.
And
Don't
you know
have
me.
him stay over at your place, because he actually does naked yoga every day at 7 o'clock a.m. and p.m. and it's in the living room.
Side out.
Now there's a lot of poses, Dave, that do hide his, shall we say, man parts, but there's a lot of poses that expose it as well.
Okay.
You calling timeout, Jonathan?
So we're still there then.
All right, timeout, John. That's your second. Score is 10-18.
And you heard that 10-18 is the score here after halftime. Chip getting 1 point, but John Iglesias scoring 3. Chip looks like he's really out of breath here as he's just down the hallway. We're actually in that doorway right in front of Chip, a little bit to his right hand. And I know Chip's listening to every word we're saying right now. But, you know, Dave, just to be honest, John Iglesias is playing inspired handball right here.
Well, Dave, I've had a chance to spar with John a couple of times in recent months, and he's playing very good handball. He's aggressive, he's playing smart handball, and he's improved his serve, and he's always been a threat. Now he's elevated his game by about 10%. And I believe, Dave, that 10% is probably top 8 material.
Time in. 10-18.
This could be a big setup. Not big enough, though.
side, thank you.
John telling himself he should have wrapped that ball around. I don't necessarily agree. I think he hit the right shot. Chip Morales trying to take every possible second he can before hitting the serve.
Replay, 10, serving 18.
Beautiful awareness and get from Chip. But Jonathan breaks over the top of that ball. A beautiful flat rollout. And that's not an easy shot to kill as the ball comes off the back wall to the front wall with a strange spin. Jonathan makes the adjustment. He made that same adjustment 5 times yesterday against the teen heartthrob Anthony Celesto
Short ball.
in a match that he won very easily.
Second. Hold it. Contact. $18-10.
That's what I would call getting your pie and eating it too. Jonathan puts himself in a bad spot and then gets bailed out by the referee when Chip Morales hits a good shot. And that's one of the luckiest shots you'll ever see.
Side out.
Our referee, Dave, has lost control of this match. Both guys looking up at the referee during rallies. The referee's made a number of questionable calls, and you really can't blame the guys for looking up during the rallies because he's made so many hinder calls that I just haven't really seen. And when players sense that the referee
John,
is
stay on the court.
trigger
John,
happy
stay on the court.
with the hinder, they're going to be a lot more inclined to be looking up during rallies and after rallies for calls.
All right, score is 10-18. Point.
And now you see John Iglesias looking at the referee thinking that he was screened. If we can take a quick look here, you'd see why these guys are jumping back toward the referee.
11-18.
11-18 is the score as Chip Morales wearing the red shirt.
Well, remember, Dave, these matches are to 25, which is a lot different than going to 21. It's a much steeper mountain. And I think, Dave, throughout the season, you'll see guys get stuck on 18 or blow big leads when you think matches might be over.
There's a side out called, and you can see John's taking as much time as he possibly can to breathe and let that ball roll
18-11.
toward the server's box. Referee earlier said to John, he said what the score was, Dave. He said the actual score when John was just walking up to the server's box, and John looked at the ref and said, I'm not ready, and he said, 10 seconds. So you can see the referee's already kind of
11-18.
getting under the skin of these guys, and then a couple missed, I believe, maybe voidables and strange screen calls, and mixed in with no screens on certain serves from both players. Actually, it's been very equal in a lot of ways. And I think both of them now are just looking up toward the referee to just say, what's going on here?
Well, Chip now starting to play some very good aggressive Chip Morales style handball with the
serving
serve and
18.
shoot, taking the ball off the wall and hitting some great kill shots. Here's another opportunity. And again, Dave, as that's 3 consecutive rallies, Jonathan looking for a hinder that he shouldn't get.
He said he touched it.
Point on it. Point.
Chip Morales really laid into that shot right there. Want to say hello to Rylan, who is watching
Flow
this
good.
live broadcast. Matt Stamp, marketing director of the USHA, and his lovely wife just
Can
gave
we get a
birth
towel really
on
quick?
November
Towel,
4th
please.
to a baby, and they're at home right now watching.
Oh, congratulations to them. That's wonderful news.
Rylan is
By the short line.
very healthy. Baby girl. That family is completely proud of what
Yes.
has
Let
transpired
me see your gloves.
as Matt
The other side.
and his beautiful wife have had
Good. All right.
of
Shirt
course, a
change. 2
charming
minutes.
relationship, and then they bring this just wonderful daughter into the world. Dave, you just recently had a baby as well with wife Trish, and baby Henry is doing so well. And you have to just be proud. You know, the times that we've been around each other, you're just a great father. And I know that when you were away from your baby, it's kind of difficult because, you know, they're at home and you're here and you're working, and it's you know, it's your whole life. And I saw that at the U.S. Open of Handball when Luis Cordoba and Arlie Cordoba were there with their brand new baby, that you held him as if he was your own, you know, and kind of missed that baby smell and all that stuff, right?
That's true. Very difficult to be away.
Well, hopefully Matt
Henry's
doesn't
in
have
very
to.
good hands, though, with my lovely wife, who's an amazing mother.
All right, 13, serving 18.
Your wife has baby Henry in a little bubble, so he doesn't
That's a side out.
get any infections
That's
from
actually
people
true.
coming up to him and touching him when they haven't washed their hands,
18-13.
or vice versa.
Unfortunately, there was a little bit of a hole in that bubble in Ireland, and he caught a little bit of a cold, and now he'll never leave the house again.
Well, that sort of thing worked well for you. But he's
Hold it.
just like Kalen, just like Raylan, as we have Kalen that just walked into the booth here. But just like
18,
Rylan,
13.
excuse me, not Raylan. What am I talking about? Just like Rylan, your baby Henry is just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, he could actually be maybe a cover model for Gerber, something like that. Have Mom thought about that, or is there too much bacteria at the Gerber plant?
13.
Well, there's
Photo shoot.
There's just so much money in handball and announcing that we've felt like we don't even need to take him down that road.
Now look who's scoring points here.
One celebrity is enough in the family.
That's right, your dad. 14 to 18. Score here is Chip is now starting to chip away at the score, and that ball looked like it just went over the line.
I agree with you. And Chip hits, the skinny V pass, and John Iglesias just gets the edge of his fingertips on that left-handed corner kill.
18-14.
Here it is. There's the yoga move.
He's finding his chi there in the server's box.
If you watch baseball back in the 80s, you might remember Al Rabowski, pitched for the St. Louis Cardinals and as well as the Braves. Used to have a reliever for that team. Had sort of a move like that.
I know, Dave, you have a move like that just before they serve you your double-double at McDonald's.
In-N-Out Burger.
Okay.
Animal style, though. Same move.
14, serving 18.
I do it right after I order.
It's actually
calms me
difficult
down a
for
little
you
bit.
in
Not
the-
before I eat it, but just after I order, because I know it's coming.
Is that not unavoidable there, Dave? I mean,
Should have been, but no call. Didn't matter. Chip just hit it a couple inches high down the right wall.
$15, serving 18.
talked to one of the Mats the other day, Dave, at the USHA headquarters, and believe that the Nationals this year are going to be in Iowa.
I heard that as well. Des Moines, I believe. 16 to 18 now,
Timeout,
just
John. That's
2
your
points
last
away
one.
is
Score is 16.
Chip Morales. He's chipped back into this contention here, as it looked like he was completely out of whack with, I believe, 9 to 17, about that type of span there, and he's come back with what I believe is like a 7-1 run at this point. I also say that since putting that red shirt on, Chip has played just completely different handball. And also we're seeing a little step down from John Iglesias. Maybe all that energy that John's put in is coming into effect here.
Well, these matches are always going to be an ebb and flow between two guys that are so evenly matched. John Iglesias has the same
20
abilities as
seconds.
does Chip Morales, able to serve and take that next shot off the wall and literally hit flat kills. And Dave, when your opponent's doing that, there's really nothing you can do if they're not giving you opportunities and you're just able to flip balls back
Right,
and
time
they're
is
first
in.
striking you. They're going to go on some big
16,
runs. And we've
18.
seen big runs from both guys here today. We've seen John roll that shot out flat.
Side
That
out.
time he just pushes the ball back into the court, and Chip makes the unforced error.
Chip should have 17 points here and serving.
18-16.
Went for that corner
Very
kill.
easy shot there for Chip to miss. And just as we saw earlier in this game, when Jonathan calls a timeout, he comes back and gets the quick side out and then a point.
19-16. I'm gonna call it, John. You're hitting the ball like a foot behind you, and there's only 2 feet of space between you and the sidewall.
You
Yeah,
saw
2
John do
serves,
the
1
fist pump, and
screen.
I was gonna ask you, why is he fist pumping on that serve? It's because he screened Chip, and it was a no call, and then the ref actually called the screen.
And this is the kind of motion, Dave, that we love to watch as fans, Dave, and
16.
announcers. These guys are good buddies, but I can guarantee you there's nothing more than they want than to beat one another right now.
Why wouldn't John take that ball off the back wall? Oh,
Jonathan.
inside out, corner kill from John Iglesias.
It's kind of an open hand splat full swing.
21-16.
And since that timeout, Dave,
Short ball.
John Iglesias has refound his mojo and his chi, and Chip Morales with that air at 16-18, now completely out of sorts and
Second.
on the verge of being knocked out of this event.
This match right at the 46-minute mark, Dave. That was strange. That's a ball that John Iglesias
Side
dove
out.
for a ball and hit it as hard as he could, and went right back to where he was laying down on the ground, and Chip then hits a little paddle up front, and they're going to call for a towel here, but now Chip serving at 16-21. John could have just paddled
Towel,
this
please.
ball down the wall. Couldn't he just pushed it down the wall?
Well, I'm thinking more about that last dive from Jonathan. If he just hits the front wall there, he's won the point, as Chip Morales is stuck up against the front wall, but he just wasn't able to get his hand on it. And this dive really wasn't necessary.
But watch how John steps backwards here. That's what really got him. John took about 4 steps back, and if he would have just stayed where he was at, Chip would have, well, still been returning the serve, and John goes back into his yoga stance.
Okay, the score is
I believe
16,
Jonathan thought
serving
Chip was going to
21.
drive that ball, but then the ball merged with the sidewall, and Chip really can only push it back into play. We've seen 2 double faults here from Chip, Dave.
Second.
One long serve on a second serve, and another, Dave, where he hit the serve into the ground.
Nice get right there from John Iglesias.
And John's killed this shot every time he's had it in this event. Oh, beautiful punch re-kill there, Dave. You see how he keeps his fist parallel with the floor there. He doesn't break his wrist and pop the ball up. He keeps his hand traveling on a parallel path with the floor, and the ball just stays completely
17,
flat.
serving 21.
17-21 score. Chip Morales trailing for most of the second half. Now making a good comeback. Look at that get though right there from John Iglesias. And another nice get, and the crowd in the stands love it too. John steps in with the paddle. Now he's got Chip Morales on the ropes.
And this is, Dave, what I've told you about John Iglesias. He can get to everything. And there's a terrible miss from Chip.
Well, if you're going to miss bad, do it like that. Both these guys just over there on the left wall, and now they're going to replay it, and the crowd doesn't like it, but I think it's the right call.
That was amazing effort there from Jonathan
That was one of the best rallies we've had so far in this match.
in this event. Absolutely amazing,
Well,
scintillating play.
That Dan Armijo, Vic Perez
Someone
match
get the ball,
yesterday had
please.
some really great rallies. No offense to these guys. That was the best one we've seen here, though. Chip still serving, as you see quite often.
Score
John Iglesias
17,
go into that yoga
serving
stance.
21.
I'm expecting to see downward dog here in just a few.
Side out.
Chip trying to go with a paddle ball shot to that left corner. Just really lazy, but if he doesn't step in and
21,
catch that
serving
ball,
17.
virtually impossible to get over to the other side of the court. As we said last night during that presentation, Dave, during the blind draw, that we said this match was going to be one of those that is going to be close, a marquee match. And now you see Chip here at 18-21.
I believe our next 2 matches following this will also be very
17,
similar, also
serving
very close.
21.
Oh, that's an amazing shot from
Point.
Chip. But Dave, getting back to that last side out that Jonathan earned on the 2-wall scoop return, I believe Chip thought he hit such a good serve that Jonathan was going to give him an easy fly kill up in the front right corner, but the
Actually,
ball
you can change
just
your gloves also. Change your gloves.
Well, this gives us a chance to talk about it, but the ball just caught the front wall with enough spin to move towards the sidewall, and Chip was expecting the ball coming straight at him, which I would have expected as well, having hit that serve, and then Chip was just pretty much dead. I don't think it was lazy. I think it was just one of those things where Jonathan was able to get just enough wrist action on the return for the ball to spin off the front wall to the right into the side wall, and it's one of those bad breaks. A good shot from Jonathan, but also a bad break for Chip, as he had hit a very good serve there.
That's what I like about guys like Dave Chapman. He had a chance to talk to him, and also John Bike, where in the days when they were winning national championships and competing at that best level in game, you talk to them, they say, no, we watch that ball actually come off their hand and see how it scoops out of their palm, out of their fingers with the left hand to the front wall, because that ball then jumps off the front wall toward the right wall. They look back and watch those things happen, and that's one of the reasons, not the only reason why those guys are champions, but certainly looking at it back here on a teleprompter, it's easy to kind of analyze it, but if you're a player in there, you really need to look back and watch your opponent. You'll be amazed at those things that you can find if you actually look back and watch your opponent hit a ball. You spend so many times when you turn your back to the situation, you put yourself really at a deficit right out of the gate. It's kind of frustrating, but
30 seconds.
Well, you watch guys play, Dave, and there's really not much difference between the shots from a guy who's ranked number 8 or 10 compared to a guy who's ranked number 1 or 2. But it's those little things, Dave. It's the anticipation. It's being able to read the ball off your opponent's hands. It's being able to judge the hop. And it's just the ability to make shots under pressure that really separates those top guys from the guys, you know, in that 8, 9, 10 range.
10 seconds.
I believe that Chip just had his back turned to John and was unable to see how he floats that ball out. But you see a lot of these guys, because the ball's so fast, that they've learned a return of serve where they're letting the ball hit the palm and come out their fingers toward about the middle portion of the front wall. The ball then jumps over to the side wall. And a lot of times you see the player actually think it's going to be a fly opportunity, and instead it's checking right on the side where you'd hit it. And that's why a guy like Chip has to just come up with a big ball type shot to defend it, where he became aggressive and then all of a sudden had to be completely 100% defensive because he wasn't anticipating that. But both of these players know how to use their hands and float balls out, and they both have a lot of spin on the ball. You see a lot of players around this country that'll say, show me how to hop the ball. But the real hops are taking place on the front wall at this elite level.
Short ball.
That was one of Chip's best serves, just came up about 2 inches short. He stayed down on that nicely and came over the top of it also, as you saw the ball straighten out. Now Chip will go with the Z serve.
It might be a big setup though. Nope.
Well, Dave, if you hit this Z serve properly, it is literally unreturnable. If you can get it deep enough, it'll come off the sidewall at 90 degrees, and you'll have no play on it if it merges with the back wall.
19,
I noticed that in
21.
my match this morning. Both my opponent and I hit about 6 Z serves that were untouchable because they merged with that back wall. And it's a very effective play, as this ball, Dave, does react completely differently off the sidewall than maybe a softer ball.
Up contact right there. No avoidable yet.
Chip, do you hit him with backswing? Stepped on his foot.
So if that shot makes the front wall, Dave, is there any hinder called, or is this like an and one play?
Referee is calling avoidable here.
No, it was on his shot. It's gonna be Chip's point. He's the one serving. Stepped on, yeah. He was going back, and if he stepped on you, it's unavoidable because you should have been out of his way.
Now watch what.
No.
I was gonna say watch what John says here, but I couldn't hear that last thing. I thought.
I've seen this situation with John before where he says, on me, you know, yeah, you were the guy that was in the way and got stepped on.
Short ball. On the line.
You see Chip has so much confidence in his fly kill game. He'll even take fly kill opportunities with his left hand. You don't see a lot of guys doing that late in games when it gets close. You see most of the time letting that ball bounce and playing a more neutral type shot. But Chip goes for his shots with both hands in the front court. And that's a nervous shot. I don't know why that's not a back wall setup.
I don't
for Chip.
know either. It's huge for Chip. I'm surprised that Chip doesn't take that, but he takes that one.
Side out.
He took the wrong back wall shot there, Dave. Chip is one of the best back wall artists we have here as the younger guys trying to come in. I should say not young, but those guys that are on the bubbling under charts.
Call the quick bit. It was a hinder.
It really wasn't a hinder. That there was plenty of time for Chip to recover, and he actually had the
21,
advantage in the
20.
rally there.
21-20 here.
It is win by 2.
Screen ball.
And Dave, it is difficult as the referee to call the screens when you're standing up
serves.
above the court.
I agree, because you can see the ball's flight completely. You can't put yourself in the perspective of the player. On the other hand,
Hold it. Contact.
Dave, you don't want to be a referee down on the player's level
Right.
either, because
And you can't call the
see
shorts.
short balls. You can't see a lot of the balls, a lot of the play.
Well, a lot of times when you call the screen serves from up top, you're just basing it on the reaction from the
21,
receiver.
20.
But Chip was lobbying for that earlier. Now 22-20 with John Iglesias putting a fist pump out here.
22-20.
Chip goes to the roof there, Dave. We haven't seen many returns go to the roof.
There's some contact, no call. You see Chip raise his hand.
When he swung, no, hold on, Chip. When he swung, you ran into him.
That's not true.
No, he was. I saw that he was in the process. What I saw is that you made contact with him
Let's
in the
watch
process
this play
of his
here.
shot.
Right there.
No, he hit it, and you. Yes.
What's your call on that?
It did look like Chip might have made contact in the follow-through.
But he still is trying to go after that ball.
Well, I'd like to see it again, but he ran a little bit prematurely. He started running for the ball before Jonathan was finished with his swing and ran himself into Jonathan while Jonathan was still following through. Now, admittedly, it was a longer follow-through, but, you know, we'll take a look at
I
it
agree
again.
that it's during the follow-through, but he does have a right to go for the ball. Right here, he's going over there to get that ball. There is contact, though. It's either, if you're going to, here's the thing, the referee could call unavoidable because it is during the follow-through, correct? So it's either that or you call a screen, but you can't just call nothing.
I would have preferred to see a screen call there because it wasn't as though the rally was over. Chip had plenty of time to set himself, but he was completely off balance when he got to that left-handed shot.
Yeah, because he was unable to plant his feet
Right.
and set up. A call should have happened there, no matter what it was. A no call is the wrong decision.
When there's that much contact, I agree. A no call is definitely the
23-20.
wrong decision.
Now we're at 23-20 here. I don't know if I agree with that call from the referee.
Short
That's a
ball.
short, I agree. John Iglesias doesn't like it now. Now he throws the ball down, but that ball was 2 inches short.
Second
Both guys,
serve.
Dave, feeling the butterflies right now.
You see Chip really trying to get out of the block here.
I like that return from Chip.
Surprised that John doesn't try to force that ball to come off the back wall. Chip jumps some rope.
And Jonathan will get to everything.
Those
Not a good shot.
underhand
Chip
paddle
should have
shots.
taken that with his left hand, Dave, and thrown a three-wall shot into the left side wall. I'm not sure why he let that go to the back wall. It was virtually
24,
impossible
game
once it
point,
got
serving
behind him.
20.
Here it is. John Iglesias has a
Hold
chance
it.
to advance.
Back foot. John. Again.
The referee says hold it as though it's going to be a
Second
replay,
serve.
but it's actually a foot fault.
Well, he calls second serve. Oh, look at that flat roll
Side
from Chip Morales, who gets the side out.
Chip's going to need to score 4 points, Dave, in this inning to keep this
20,
match
serving
alive.
24. Short ball.
It's a huge match for both guys. Both guys would earn quarterfinal points here with a win. A big difference between
Second.
quarterfinal points and round of 16 points.
That's a good serve. Watch what Chip does with this. Oh, right back down the right.
We've seen
See?
John says the ball's broken.
Huh? I didn't see it hit him. I didn't see him hit him, John. Here you go.
John saying that that ball hit Chip before it bounced twice when Chip hit the back wall, front wall.
Score is
Pass.
21, serving 24. Short ball.
Chip almost floored that ball.
But we've seen Chip come back, Dave, from 10-2 in the tiebreaker against
Second.
Andy Nett. He's now down 24-20, match point, now 24-21.
That was a smart play from John Iglesias.
Hold it. Replay. Replay.
Oh.
Replay. Replay that.
Chip Morales took the wrong angle on that and then corrects himself, and John's in the way. I know there's sometimes no other way around it as a referee to call things, but when you see a player completely go out of his way and then try to correct himself.
Well, it was a complete mishit from John. That's why Chip was going the wrong way.
Almost contact there with their feet.
Replay.
And that would have been a corner kill from Chip. John, fortunate to be in the way there.
I think that was a smart move from John, taking those extra steps forward, taking away that corner kill from Chip. Chip likes that wide corner kill.
21-24.
Other players go right into the crack. That's the best serve Chip has over there on the right, but he's unable to locate it here. I think he's standing too close to the right sidewall on that serve.
Well, there's a big adjustment with this harder ball to get the ball over the line. I don't understand that return from Jonathan.
I do. That was a great return.
Well, he got away with it there, but.
Side out.
And John double bounces that before the back wall. A perfect shot. Now serve for this match again in his first ever quarterfinal appearance in a pro stop.
This could be it here. And you're going to hear a big round of applause from the crowd no matter what happens. John gets it, rolls out of it, dives back in again, paddles it, and it looks like he might have got Chip, and he does. And into the quarterfinals is John Iglesias as they give each other a hug, defeating Chip Morales 25-21, Dave.
Well, that was certainly a rally that Chip should have won on a couple of occasions, but it's a match that John Iglesias earned, Dave, and how he's now in the discussion as one of the elite players, now booking a spot in the quarterfinals. Not many handball players, Dave, in history have made a quarterfinal at a pro stop. John Iglesias is now one of them, and John Iglesias, Dave, will be playing again this afternoon in the quarterfinals at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, it's very interesting here as we have another good match coming up. The interesting part is that match took exactly 1 hour. Reducing the score to a one-game match at 25 really didn't change anything. It's still a 1 hour long match.
Well, what I love about the one-game match at 25, it's like the whole game is a tiebreaker. Those jitters that you get, Dave, as a fan watching a tiebreaker, it feels like that the entire match, particularly after halftime. We've got a pretty close game between two guys that are really evenly matched. The excitement, Dave, is really incredible, and you haven't had to wait through 2 hours and 2 games to get there. And now, Dave, Jonathan will have enough energy left for his next round in the quarterfinals, as opposed to if they play a 2.5 hour match that goes 11-8 in the tiebreaker. Jonathan really is at a huge disadvantage.
Well, coming up next, we have another good one. It's going to be Emmett Pichotte versus Vic Perez. Just a real brief thought on this one. On paper, does it look like it could be a match, or after watching how Vic did not play very well yesterday, it seems that the advantage still is with Emmett Pichotte?
Well, I believe, Dave, that Vic matches up better against super aggressive players like a Charlie Shanks or even an Alan Garner, because he plays that steady, methodical game. He doesn't give you a lot of opportunities, but really, I believe Vic plays Emmett Pichotte's game, but Emmett plays it better. So I think Emmett will surprise some people here and win pretty easily.
Okay, we're going to have that match coming up in less than 10 minutes. You stick around. We'll have more handball as the race for 8 continues in Tucson, Arizona. For Ben Garad, Linda Manning, Dave Fink, and yours truly, Dave Vincent, we'll be back with more round of 16 action. Emmett Pichotte versus Vic Perez next here at racefor8.com.
My name is Bruce Fabrizio. In 1975, I invented Simple Green based on 3 principles. It had to be safer to use, it had to work, and it had to be completely made in America. From generation to generation, Simple Green has been cleaning everything from car engines and tools to kitchen counters and floors. No matter what you clean, indoors or outdoors, clean it with non-toxic, biodegradable Simple Green.
JV, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all living united to ensure the academic success of millions of kids in our communities all the way to graduation day. But that won't happen without you. So take the pledge at unitedway.org. Make a difference in the life of a child. Suit up like your favorite NFL players and become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor with United Way.
It's Timothy Green's first day at school.
What's in there? He's
Well,
about
just
to fall
anything
over.
he might need. There's a box of tissues on the bottom and some Band-Aids. There's a whole first aid kit, actually.
Mom, I can handle it from here.
You don't have to be perfect
Have a great day.
That's too much pressure.
Have the day you have.
to be a perfect parent.
There are two people in the world who want you more than anything. They'll make some mistakes, but they will love you more than you can ever imagine.
There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.